Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing really great. We have a very amazing personality with us. We have Sandhya Kumar ma'am with us, and currently we are having different time zones, but somehow we managed for this discussion. We are really happy to have you, ma'am, here, and all Indian audience are waiting for your introduction and listening to this entire talk today. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Yumi. Namaste, India. My name is Sahitya Kumar. I'm from Canada. And this is my book, Unveiling Shackles, which I wrote a couple of years ago, actually. I wrote the book, and it's won 3 awards so far. One in India with the Sahitya Sparsh Book Awards, and then I won the International Book Awards and Book Fest in Canada and US. And then I'm up for UK New Influencer for Women's Empowerment in the United Kingdom. And also, I'm up for the Canada Reads Book Award in Canada as well. So my book's doing very well.
So, ma'am, that's like pretty much you have reached all these countries and audience. So, I just want to know a very simple question you might have come across like multiple times. Why did you put this name for your book? Was there any specific reason that it just naturally occurred to you that you should put it like that?
My late husband, he's the one that told me to write the book because he went through my diaries and read them. And I struggled with a lot of things growing up, which is in my book, all the events and how I handled them all. And he suggested unveiling shackles because he said it's the hidden truth that's being unveiled, and shackles is for all the chains that I had growing up, all the restrictions, the boundaries. And in my book, I do discuss gender biases, which is common in Indo-Fijian families, and I'm assuming Indian as well in India. And that was the tough part for me because I was in grade 6 at the time to really come with the loss of the freedom because everything was good up until grade 6. I think it's about 10, 11-year old. And that's when my parents said, no, you're not good enough. You're not a boy. You have to stay home, cook, clean, and do anything we say. And that didn't sit well with me. I was a rebel. I was a tomboy. And I didn't agree. So I started fighting them quite early on. I started rebelling with them. And then in grade 7, it got worse because they started coming to my school, my parents, my dad mostly. He would come to check on us, like me and my older sister, Ronnie. They would come and do inspections. He would go see who I'm talking to, who I'm playing with, what I'm doing all day at school. And the funniest thing is during gym, we had dance class. And that was a form of exercise. To him, it was not exercise. It was getting close to boys. And he didn't like that, holding hands and dancing. So he told the principal that this is forbidden in our culture. We don't do this. Girls don't touch boys. They don't even talk to them. So that was an interesting one. I have covered that in my book as well. There's many other stories in my book. I touch on my mom was Muslim and my dad was Hindu, so I touch on that as well in my book and how that pertained to growing up and the difficulties we had adjusting to both religions. Um, I talk about the acceptance of the extended families on both sides, how they treated us. My dad stopped communicating with his family, and my mom did the same for years. And how it came about that my uncle and aunt, my mommy and mama, they started accepting us. So that was a nice turnaround. And then finally, my kaka and kaki did the same. But it took years. We lost years worth of all that stability of family, the love. But I would suggest if anybody that reads my book, um, there's a lot in there to comprehend. I would say take it a little at a time because it is traumatic. A lot of people might have trauma associated with all the events in my book because I do talk about my marriage, which was forced. Um, I was 15 when my parents restricted me from school. They took me out of school. And at 16, they forced me into an arranged marriage. And then I talk about that as well in my book, how I coped with that. I was married to him for 40 years. Um, it was a toxic relationship, but I did it for the kids. I know a lot of women are like, well, that's not ultimately what you should be doing, but I sacrificed because I had lots to deal with. It was not only my own kids. I raised two of my older sister Ronnie's kids as well when I was 16, and then again when I was 17 and a half. I raised her boys. So there was a lot of trauma associated with that. And then the deaths of my parents, I talk about that as well. Because up until they were pretty toxic parents, up until they got really sick, like probably 60, 70, and then they started changing. But I think my father, he passed away when he was like 84. He, at that point, he realized I was more of a boy to him, doing all the boy obligations in our culture than any of the other siblings. I would say that the thing I want women to learn from my book is that change comes with a lot of sacrifice, and you have to believe in yourself, and you have to give yourself some self love, because if you don't, there's no reason to stand up for yourself, because you got to take care of yourself first.
Uh, I just have a lot of emotions coming through listening to your story and just want to give you a warm hug that you have been through a lot and you managed to overcome all this and also wrote a book about it. I think hardly we talk about our childhood traumas, the incidents we have been through so far, and but to all the women, I think it's very important that reading this book will also kind of give them courage to talk about it and like to the world. So, first of all, thank you so much. And I just hope I could be there and give you a hug. But yeah, virtual would be also fine. And so I want to know, like, you have been telling about your childhood traumas. So have you been always aware of what kind of person you want to become, or what kind of life you should have? Did you have the clear idea, or since childhood, when this thing started, you just were like normal person, surviving, coping? How was your days used to be?
The thing is, like when I was little, I just wanted to be a police officer, but that didn't happen. So then when I had my son, I was like, he could be a police officer. So I kept him out of trouble and stuff. And he tried, but he didn't feel it, so I didn't push him. And then actually, when I gave birth to my son, that was when I realized I wanted to be more than just a mother, just a housewife, and a daughter to my parents, because that was all my life. I was taking care of my parents and being the wife and being the mother to kids that weren't mine, which were my nephews. And when I had my son, that opened my eyes, because I was like, what is this child going to think of his mother? What is he going to think? My mom can't do nothing. She's doesn't have her education. She doesn't have a job. And I was like 20 when I had him. So I went back to school, finished that, went on to college, graduated criminology, went into surveillance, and then I went to the police academy, learned private investigations, got my certificate from them, and then I became a private investigator. So I did everything pretty much that I had thought about when I was little. So I finished all those dreams. And I would say to ladies that it doesn't matter how long you take, as long as you get there. As long as you get there.
True, true. I completely second that thought. I mean, until and unless we don't live that journey, it always look something unachievable, and there needs to be someone who can be pushing. So, was someone with you in this journey who was helping you out, or kind of you were relying on them to be there? to be vulnerable, or it was just you by yourself?
Um, my marriage, my husband was not the greatest husband. He was a great father. Um, he was there somewhat emotionally supporting me at times, and then he would disappear for weeks, days. No clue where he would go, what he would do. It was like he was single. And I talk about that as well in my book. Um, I would say my son, he was there for me emotionally, even though he was a little child. He always used to come run up and give me a hug and say, Mama, don't worry, it'll be okay. Everything will be fine. He was the strength that made me go on.
Right. And I think, so how much did it, like, is it kind of journaling that you used to do that kind of given you the idea to write this book? Or how did it happen? I mean, I knew some of the bits and parts that you already explained, but how the idea of writing the book and publishing it came in the picture completely.
Well, when I used to write in my diaries, it was mostly sad things that I would write about, like the abuse, the gender biases, and how I would cope with that. I would hide under my bed and
Mhm.
just find sanctuary under my bed, and it still brings up memories emotionally for me, even though I'm like 57 now. I definitely would say that, like I had said, that my husband read them. That was the part that I wanted to keep private in my life, the diaries and stuff. But after he read it, he was like emotional about it. And he said, there's lots of women out there that would read your book and find solace in it. And they might find answers to what they're seeking. And I said, what are you talking about? And then he explained, he's like, you're a good writer. He goes, I read your book, your diaries. And he goes, you should put it into a book. And I was like, I'll think about it. But I just got very sick at one point when COVID hit, and I gave my book rights to my husband. And
Mhm.
then after I had written it all, he had got it published. It was published 6 days after he passed away. It was published, and he died 5 days after my birthday. He passed away. That was the birthday present that he left me, was my published book.
So, I just want to know, as far as your friends, relatives, whoever is close to you has read the book, and how did like they reacted? How was their overall expression after reading this?
Um, Only two people in my family have read the book, because I don't talk to any of my siblings. They're toxic. I talk about them in my book as well. My daughter read it and she was fine with it. She said some of the things she didn't want to hear. Um, the book had some bad things about her dad, and I think that sort of made it a little hard for her to accept the whole book. But she said it was well written. It was a good book because she reads a lot of books. And my daughter-in-law read it. That was interesting, but she kept an open mind about it.
Right. So, like this is probably your first book, right, ma'am? Like you
Yeah.
haven't. Okay. So I just want to know, when you write a book, which is something very dear to you, and you itself has presented your entire life journey so far. So how did it feel to present it to the world, and kind of expectations we also have, how people should perceive it, how should it be, disseminating among people, what kind of reactions should come? Did you have any kind of those sort of things in your mind, or it just went smoothly?
The whole process was smooth, like the publishing and everything, and I didn't get any bad feedback from anyone about my book yet.
Okay.
Um, I would definitely say it's an eye opener to people that want to know about Indo-Fijian, because I write about the Gurmit in there as well, the slavery part, when my ancestors were kidnapped from India and taken to Fiji. I talk about that in my book as well. So there are a lot of things that do bring up a lot of emotions, but people have been very accepting.
Yeah. I mean, the book also kind of tells us the things in the society or in the world that has been happening without actually trying to tell that. So I think that's the best way to put something out there. And a book, a story cannot be completed without having the reflection of the society a person is coming from. So that's very beautiful of you that the way you have answered and put it. So I think, yeah, for us Indians as well, it will be a great eye opener because we always have been felt that way or made realized in a different way. But yeah, I would urge everyone, whoever is watching this video right now, please go and read this book. We are available on Amazon on our own website. So please give it a read and please let us know how did you feel about it. Do you
I think it
have,
is.
yeah, please.
I just want women to know that they have the power within them to change.
Mhm.
Please don't. If I could do it, anyone can. You know, all these stories that I hear, all these marriages, arranged marriages that end in tragedy, like that's really heartbreaking to me. Like parents pushing their kids into marriage. I mean, daughters are just as good as boys, honestly. I mean, if you had asked my parents before they passed away if they would want a boy or a girl, they would definitely say a girl because I was there from day one and I was there till their last breath. So that's what I want to
That's
say to parents.
That's true, but also kind of it's sad and it also gives the picture how much a girl needs, I mean, how much extra a girl needs to do to prove her worth. I mean, they could be just as normal or as other human being, just like we men are in the society. But the way like they have been kept, like they have to do the extra effort coming from the patriarchal society or background, whatever we think that are. So yeah, I think that will be a very great eye opener. Please go and read this book. Uh, ma'am, I don't have any words how to express this. I mean, you felt this platform to be a very safe space where you could narrate all the stories that book covers. I think nothing is greater than that. I'm really happy that we could provide that place for you, and it was also a pleasure for us having you here, getting to hear this conversation. I think I'm just overwhelmed and kind of short of words. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. It's nice meeting you, Shukri.
Same, same, ma'am. And please, readers, go ahead, read this book, especially women who has been who is watching this video. Please go read it because it's really needed. As ma'am is saying, if she could do it, you can also do it. So yeah, if this book at least can help you 1% achieving that, please go ahead and read. Thank you so much for everyone watching this
Thank you.
video.